Hello dear World of Warcraft friends, welcome back to a new video on my channel. In a month, BlizzCon will take place and we're expecting some bangers there. Most likely the new retail add-on, The Last Titan, will be announced. We'll get more information about it, that's going to be very juicy, but from a classic perspective, we're probably expecting some real treats as well. Because it's very likely, after all the rumors, that Blizzard will announce World of Warcraft Classic Plus or the so-called Project Camelot at BlizzCon. So far, the whole thing has been more or less rumors with very strong evidence pointing to it. And now Blizzard has pushed a new patch that suggests Project Camelot will soon be tested and not just internally. What's it all about? We'll take a look at that in this video. If you want, feel free to leave a like and subscribe. I'd really appreciate it. It supports me a lot. And feel free to write in the comments as well. Are you interested in Classic Plus, Project Camelot? My channel has been very focused on retail so far. And we've also covered the biggest news about Classic, yeah. But I always feel like not that many people are interested in Classic. Feel free to write it in the comments. If you're like, hey, I'd like more of that, then we'll see if we can bring you some more news about it. But yeah, with that, let's get started. At the beginning of the year, we had the State of Azeroth, a big video where Blizzard's top people announced to us all the new things coming to World of Warcraft this year. And Ian Hezikostas, for example, talked about patch 12.1, the Labyrinths, that will soon be coming to retail, and also Hollylong. And Longdale had an important part. She took care of Classic and then said that she's finally happy to be able to make announcements, but then she was interrupted and basically told, no, stop, wait a minute. So it was already suspected that it would be Classic Plus, but people thought Blizzard would save this announcement for BlizzCon. And yes, that apparently seems to be the case. But now there are new data references, and they're tied to Project Camelot. All in all, there was on the 16th. On June 16th, there was a leak that in the data mining or in the game files, there are World of Warcraft Heroic and Epic editions for World of Warcraft Camelot. There still isn't much information about it, but it's supposed to be a new game mode that has nothing to do with Midnight, Classic, or anything else. So it's a new version that you can download and is probably Classic Plus. And then the data miner also said here that he looked at it and can confirm 100% that patch 1.6.0, which was also pushed, is Project Camelot. And yeah, the whole story fits now that Blizzard apparently wants to start or has planned a closed beta here. We can see here through this patch sniffer that exists, which basically monitors the internal Blizzard servers just like the public realms. We can see here that there is a new build. Specifically, the WoW Vendor 6 server was updated from patch 1.1.8 and so on to 1.6.0. That means Blizzard is apparently in the process of updating the servers to this Project Camelot build. And accordingly, that suggests, just to make that clear, there was nothing like this in Classic before, because we already had all those patches back then. Accordingly, there were no secret encrypted patches that were pushed to any Blizzard servers. That just wasn't necessary. Now we have this patch 1.6.0, which was completely encrypted, and there was only this hint that it's related to Project Camelot, labeled as Heroic and Epic editions. And now they're just pushing the whole thing onto a new server. And we always see that with retail as well. The whole thing starts when Blizzard pushes a new build, like recently with 12.1.5. That build is then tested internally for a few weeks, about 3 to 4, and then the whole thing goes on to public test servers. And accordingly, you can assume that Blizzard is preparing everything now. BlizzCon will take place in September. On that weekend, the 12th and 13th, a leak said that we can play Project Camelot right after that. So that everything will go live right after that. I personally don't believe that. For example, the data we've received would strongly suggest that Blizzard will announce this at BlizzCon. And after that, the whole thing will go into beta where everything can be tested. At least this would suggest that this is all a preparation for BlizzCon. It's being tested. Does everything work? Is it stable? So that afterwards they could let people from the community try out this version. And Wowhead also says, this is exactly how it went down with the Season of Discovery at BlizzCon in 2023, with these patches and builds and so on. So let me put it this way, it's not definitive proof. But the evidence that all of this has to do with Classic Plus and this World of Warcraft Camelot is huge. Almost as huge as my... Let's leave it at that. Yeah, I'm really excited. Personally, I think this year's BlizzCon is going to be really awesome. And even though I'm not a Classic fan, and I probably won't play Classic Plus either, because honestly, I just don't have the time anymore to play both Retail and Classic equally. But I just think it's cool that there are options, so everyone can play the version of WoW that they enjoy the most. So I'm not one of those people who say, Classic is better, or Retail is better. I really think it's great that we have different versions here, and everyone can just play whatever they enjoy the most. Because in the end, what unites us all is that we like World of Warcraft. We're one big community. And at least I'm curious to see how Blizzard will relaunch Classic, or would relaunch it. Which new content will be included with it, and so on and so forth. I find that interesting to observe, even if I don't play it myself. Yes, so thank you very much for watching. What do you think? Is this the final hint for Project Camelot, or do you think it doesn't mean anything? Feel free to write it in the comments, and with that, thanks for watching. See you in the next video, and take care.